Hey there, everyone. Today we're going to be starting up a new series. This is going to be a pretty interesting one. So, what we're going to be doing is essentially replaying the history of baseball if the Diamondbacks were an inaugural team and if I controlled them throughout history. So, first, I'm going to basically overlay how this is going to work and we'll go from there, start with the inaugural draft. So I've taken control of the 1871 Chicago White Stockings, who are the modern day equivalent of, or the 1871 equivalent of the modern day Cubs. We've recalled or renamed them rather to the Chicago Vipers. And at some point in the future, we're going to be moving the team to Phoenix, where they will become once again the Arizona Diamondbacks. And at the same year, the Cubs will expand to Chicago. So I'm pretty sure I actually have no idea how we're going to do that. At this point, I'm going to be reviewing that as we go forwards, but I hope to have a more complete plan on how that will work at some point. But anyways, that's a long, long time in the future, hundreds of episodes probably, so I'm not too concerned about it. Anyways, since this is 1871, everything has to be done via inaugural draft. Now, I currently have the historical recalculation engine on, which means that each player will have their stats or their ratings adjusted based on their statistics in that year. I'm going to disable that once we get minor leagues, but really, this is the only way the game will function for the time being. So we will have that. Just want to make sure I've got everything important enabled here. I'm actually going to leave the DH disabled for now. Doesn't really make sense at this point in time. And we're going to jump into the inaugural draft. So it'll be pretty interesting to see what players we end up with. I believe we've got the second overall selection. So we'll get to it, see what happens here. This should be a fun one. All right, so I'm going to be going for batters early, I think. A lot of the top players at this point in time are hitters. So Al Spalding, a pitcher, will go first overall to the Troy Haymakers. A really good-looking pitcher, lots of movement and control. So yeah, that's an interesting guy. All right, so we've got Ross Barnes and Cap Hansen are the two guys that I'm really looking at to see as our first overall picks. Now, Cap Anson in real life was one of the best players in baseball for a long time. You can see he played until pretty much 1900, accumulated almost 100 WAR. We've also got Ross Barnes here. He didn't play as long, so I think it's Cap Anson over Ross Barnes. We got Levi Mayer, also didn't play very long. I think Cap Anson's probably the safe pick here. He's going to be good this year. He's going to be good for a real long time. All right, so drafted in the first round, an addition were Asa Brainerd or Asa Brainerd, Dick McBride, so a couple of really good pitchers, Cherokee Fisher, George Zetline, Riney Wolters, a lot of pitchers going here. Ross Barnes, the second hitter drafted. He will go to the A's, which I believe was the team that no, he didn't play with the A's. Never mind. Al Pratt, another pitcher. Levi Merrill, something like that. John McMullen, Jimmy Wood, Fred Waterman, Cal McVeigh, Dave Egler, and George Wright. Ooh, George Wright. He was good, I think. All right, anyways, of the guys left, we've got Davey Force. Yeah, he had a long career, just not a very good one. He was really bad after the first couple of seasons, posted negative career WAR. Deacon White, here's a good player. He had a very long career as well, playing into the 1890 era. Doug Allison, I'm pretty sure we're going Deacon White here. He's one of the best players in this era, if not the best player in this era. He's also a catcher, which I already took a look at the catchers. They are slim pickings. Not a lot of good options for catchers. So we're just going to have to settle with Deacon White, who's probably among the better catchers available. Okay. Now, there weren't too many selections between Deacon White and our current one. So George Hall will go to the Troy Haymakers. That's a good selection. Lip Pike goes to the Troy Haymakers as well. And those were the only two picks. So let's take another look at the draft pool. I think we might start transitioning to pitchers, but I want to see if we can maybe grab a couple more guys that will be cornerstone hitters for the entirety of the 1800s. I'm mostly looking at young guys here. I think we might also take a look at some potential fielders. Steve King. Oh man, he played 2 years. Andy Leonard. Ooh, okay. He's not bad. I'm still like all of these guys have career WARs in the single digits or worse. Every single one. So I think we will look at starting pitchers here. Oh, what? There's two guys left in the entire draft? What? That can't possibly be right. There's only a handful of pitchers left in the entire draft. Okay. That definitely changes our approach. So I'm liking Bill Stearns here. He only played a couple of seasons, though. Although, again, once players retire in real life, the development engine then takes over. But Bobby Matthews, what a pitcher. Definitely going to be our selection in this part of the draft. Bill Stearns is still available. Oh, thank goodness for that. Man, I don't like these relievers with no stamina. So Bill Stearns is going to be our selection here, I think, just because we need at least two pitchers. So we'll hope he can continue being really good after the development engine takes over for him. But we're going to definitely select him here. Okay, let's take a look at some fielders because we're going to need some decent fielders to help limit the number of hits our opponents collect here in the dead ball era. John Bass, were you good? He played 3 seasons, so that's a no. Dickie Flowers, he played 2 seasons. A lot of these guys did not stick around. Is he a good fielder? He could have been a good fielder. Man, the early eras of the major leagues, such a weird time period. So everyone's either got 60 range, 55 arm, 55 error, and 55 turn double plays, or significantly worse than that. Man, this is so strange. Definitely not what we're used to. Jimmy Hallinan could be an option, although he was frequently injured. He's got a injury proneness of fragile. John Bass, I mean, I think he's probably the best option available if we want to go with a fielder in this round. We could wait. I think Pony Sager could be an option. All right, well, let's look at outfielders. So we've again got a handful of 60 grade range guys and then some pretty bad options after that. Robert Armstrong, Tommy Bells. At least he's versatile. This is definitely not what I was hoping to see. Yeah, some catchers who play the outfield. Very strange. Okay, you know what? I'm actually going to take a little while to look at the draft pool, analyze our options, and then I'll come back to you guys after that. All right, after pondering the draft pool a little bit, I've come across a couple of players that I think are pretty interesting. So George Bechtel will be the guy that we draft this round. He will be one of our corner outfielders. He's got a good personality, but really what I like here is that he puts together a relatively sustainable career for a couple of seasons. You can't really say that about a lot of these guys. So basically, he's another type of player that I think we can build around. And it looks like just about everyone else I was interested in is gone. So Tom Carey will be our next selection here. We'll probably get Bob Addy, although I don't think I want to draft him quite yet at this point. I think let's take another look here at the draft pool. And I'll get back to you guys when I figure out who I'm taking next. Okay, the guy I've landed on for this round is Harry Wright. He is actually pretty old, but he manages to put together a nice career for himself going forward, so he will be our selection in this round. I particularly like his age 39 season where he batted 315, 337, 391. He's also a decent defensive center fielder, so probably one of our better choices at the moment. And it looks like Bob Johnson is gone. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to figure some more stuff out. I'll get back to you guys, hopefully with some more draft picks. We are going to be drafting Jimmy Hallinan, who actually has some good years ahead of him. You can see a lot of positive WAR here, 321 season capping it off. I think there's a good amount of potential in drafting him for the future. He's also got some of the better defense at shortstop, so once we get him trained up a little bit, that ought to help. And yeah, we'll see how he does. I believe at this point we need a second baseman and a first baseman. No, just a first baseman and a corner outfielder, or Tom Carey could play a corner outfield spot, right field notably, which would be the preferable option. So let's look at some second basemen here. Maybe we can find somebody with some good range. Joe Quest, I've been kind of looking at. He has a really bad career, but he's also got a great personality. He's young, and for whatever reason, his potential is higher. So I don't know. I think I'm actually going to take a look here at some of the better fielding second basemen. Yeah, we've got one guy who's ranger than everyone else. That's Wally Goldsmith. He has a better year next year. Not by much, but it's better. So I think we're going to take him just for the fact that he's a better fielder. And now I think a first baseman is really the last thing we need. I might look at grabbing some perhaps relief pitchers. I know that there were some of those available. Oh, never mind, they're gone by now. Okay, well, we might look at we'll figure it out. We've got Charles Bierman, Ned Connor, Henry Kohler. Wow, these options are really bad. Not one of these players has a single good season in their career. So I'm thinking we'll just go with the best rated player, as outrageous as that is. And that's looking like it'll be Joe Simmons. Yep, it's going to be Joe Simmons. So he'll be our first baseman. I believe at this point we've completed our team. And now we're just taking utility guys. Catcher, first base, second base, third base, shortstop, all corner outfield spots. Yeah, so now we're taking utility guys, basically. Robert Armstrong can play center field, which I find appealing since most guys can't. Joe Batten has a single good year at age 24. It's more than most of these players can say. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Joe Batten right now for that one good season in his career. And it looks like we get one more selection in the whole draft. I honestly am pretty sure that there were no utility players at this point in time. Everybody played every single game of the year, and there were just a couple of backups for maybe occasional pinch hitting opportunities. I'm not liking any of these players. They're all really poor. I think we might end up literally just taking the best personality. I think we'll go with George Awell. He's decent and he does have the best personality. All right, well, we get one more selection actually, so maybe Tom Pratt, maybe Neely Phelps. Actually, this third baseman, Mike Brannick, is probably the better option. He's 19. That's another little bonus. All right, and the draft is over. So we've got 13 players here. Deacon White will be our catcher. Notice how I'm not using the word starting under any circumstances because there are no backups. These guys will probably play literally every single game of the year. I think we've got an interesting team. I'm not sure if we can win this year or not, but we'll look at potentially, I don't know, we'll look at making a team better if we need to. adding guys in free agency. I don't even know if that's an option, but yeah, let's get a one-man rotation here. Bobby Matthews. I'm not sure if other teams are running one-man rotations. Yeah, one-man rotations. Okay, so we will do a one-guy rotation. And Bill Sturds, I guess we can honestly just set it to middle relief, long relief. He's going to be the only guy that comes in if we do need a reliever. Is Bill Sturds better than Bobby Matthews, though? 75 movement, 80 control, 70 movement, 75 control. Okay, so Sturds is better for this year. Bobby Matthews, you know what? Bobby Matthews goes on to have a legendary career as one of the best players in the league after this season. So I think we're gonna let Bobby Matthews. Nah, yeah, it's tough. I think we're gonna let Matthews start. Does Sturts have a good career? No, he doesn't really have a great career. All right, so I think we're just gonna kind of leave these guys to be, if they get into games, okay. If not, whatever. All right, I don't really know what we really need to do to the batting order given the run scoring of this environment. Betchel should hit higher. He's probably our number 3 hitter. Wright should definitely hit higher. He's probably our number 4 hitter. Tom Carey, he can hit higher. Does he hit higher than Simmons? Yeah, I think so. I think these two guys at the bottom of the order, Hallinan can hit further versus right-handed starters, and Goldsmith can hit higher versus left-handed starters. It doesn't make much difference. It is just a very strange era. All right, now as for strategies, I think everybody really has pretty good speed. Just about everyone steals a lot. Just about every catcher, and when I say just about every catcher, I mean every catcher has really bad arms. So I think we could go high on the base running, the stealing, the hit and run. I don't like bunting even in this era, so we're gonna set that pretty low. Actually, you know what, bunt for hit. Honestly, you know what? Nobody really gets on base. Maybe it actually makes sense to set that. You know what? Everyone else also sucks at putting. That's gonna that's gonna set that lower. For pitch around, nobody's hitting home runs. No chance we're doing that ever. Nobody's getting intentionally walked. We can't afford base runners. We definitely want to hold runners because everyone's going to be stealing. Kind of want to play the infield in. BABIP's not that high, so I don't think we need to worry about. Yeah, we'll leave it neutral. We're definitely not playing our. It's the dead ball era. I'll do it a little. It's going to be an interesting environment. I have never played an era in or a game in this era before, so we're really gonna have to see. Don't care about matchups, that's for sure. We're not pinch hitting for anybody ever. And I think we're good to go. Let's just do a quick check of our personnel. Okay, our bench coach. Ooh, I'd rather. You know what? Development doesn't actually matter because the development engine is disabled. So our hitting coach is outstanding, but other than that, I don't think it really matters. Honestly, I might get or base coaches who are really good at running stuff. So I think we're just going to simulate until spring training and then opening day and see how it goes because I don't have too much else to do here. I might look at some trades at some point, but I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward run. Oh man, it doesn't look like we're having a great spring training. We went 500 there. Acquire an MVP winner when there hasn't even been a season for there to be an MVP. Ross Barnes actually coming into the year as the best hitter. I find that interesting. Cal McVay, very tempting option for us at one point. Looks really good too. George Wright looks really good. Bill Stearns has increased his overall and potential ratings. The top 100 prospects list. Wait. Okay, anyways, it looks like we have the number one prospect system. Cap Anson is the top prospect. Bill Stearns is number 7. Deacon White is number 9. Bobby Matthews, number 11. And Tom Carey, number 34, are our top 5. That doesn't really surprise me. I built this team to work in the long run really well, so hopefully they actually do that. Let's look at the preseason predictions, see where we're expected to go. They think we'll go 17-15, which is not nearly good enough. Well, 3 games back, but still, in a short season like this. I'm going to investigate some trades, see if I can get anything to work, but I doubt it. I'll come back to you guys if I happen to, and if not, then we'll start simulating. Okay, so what we've got here is simply put a ridiculous and also ridiculously good deal. So we are sending to the A's one of our pitchers, Bill Stearns, who really has just a very strong 1871 and falls off after that. Right fielder Tom Carey, who's got one really strong year ahead of him, but is definitely expendable. And George Ewell, who is just like a guy we picked up in the later rounds for the sake of having him. In return, we're getting Ross Barnes, who is second best hitter in this era to Cap Anson. So we're going to have the 2 best. Joe Start, who's looking like another really awesome hitting option. John Bass, who's a really decent hitter as well. I believe he's got a pretty good, no, it's not him. I think it's Joe Start, who has a really good looking career ahead of him. We've also got George Bird. He's more or less just a guy we're picking up for the sake of having him. Marshall King, same deal. He's just a utility guy, shortstop type of player. We're also getting their 1st and 5th round draft picks of the next year. So we're improving our cash a ton because they're retaining all of these contracts. We're getting a lot of talent, and I think this is an outstanding acquisition for us. Now, given this, I'm going to look at some more trade possibilities. We'll see if I can get anything together, and I'll definitely give you guys the next update, see if we can't get something going. Another really weird trade here. It seems that teams just do not value players for whatever reason, because we are trading Wally Goldsmith, a very mediocre utility guy, for Joe McDermott, Everett Mills, Frank Burrows, Jim Carlton, and their first 5-round draft picks, in addition to cash, with everybody 100% retained. I mean, this is like giving up nothing for a whole lot of something and money. I do not understand this. I'm happy about it though, so gonna make that one happen, and I'll see what other crazy things we can make go here. This one's a more minor deal. We are adding Ned Cuthbert. He's really going to just have one great season. I think we're going to add him for that purpose, hoping that we can either optimize his trade value or get that one good season out of him. And Denny Mack, he's also got a good season coming in 1872. We are giving up Mike Brannick, who was, I believe, our final selection in the draft, or at least one of them, and he's just not very good at all. So, nice little trade here. We'll see what else we can get going for trades. Definitely looking at potentially getting some from a couple other teams, and we'll have to see what those end up looking like. Another great one here. Teams seem to really value Marshall King, except apparently I believe that's the Athletics. Yeah, the Athletics. No, that's a Boston, New York team. Okay, well, whatever that team was, they didn't seem to like him, but everybody else really, really likes him. So for whatever reason, anyways, we're getting Charlie Pabor, who is, I mean, he's a good player. He's a spark plug, but more importantly, in 1873, he has a monster year, which is what we're keeping him around for. He should get a rating spike then. Andy Leonard also has a really good career in this era. Perennially hits over 300. Great player and a first-round draft pick. So a nice one there. We're losing a little bit cash, but we got plenty to spare. So I think that's a nice pickup. And I'll get back to you guys with the next one. Another awesome trade here. We are all aware of just how highly relievers and pitchers in general are valued, but here we've got Riney Walters, an outstanding two-way player. This guy can be an outstanding pitcher. He could be a great right fielder. I don't see why he's as cheap as he is. He's probably in contention for the MVP award this year. Now, he did have a really short career, so we're going to have to see how that affects his ratings overall. But he did not have a bad pitching. Well, I mean, I guess his 1872, but he only threw a couple or a relatively small number of innings. So I don't know. We're going to have to see. Also, grabbing another first rounder in this pick, or in this trade rather. We are giving up Jim Carlton and Greg Bird. He's unmotivated. He had a 2-year career. Greg Bird had a 1-year career, or George Bird rather. He had a 1-year career. So I think this is an outstanding addition to our team. I'm loving it, and I'll see if I can get anything else going here. I think I figured out what it is. GMs in this era are just not smart because it's so long ago. We're giving up a 10th round pick for a first, second, and third round pick, $100, and a catcher fully retained. This is because we need a backup catcher, basically, and we have everything else. I don't understand this at all. This just does not make sense. We're going to complete this. And I think we're at the point where we can start building our team. So I will get that together and get back to you guys when we've got a roster set. All right, the team is ready. So this is what we've got. Our starting catcher is going to be Deacon White. I mean, every catcher has the 50 ability, 50 arm. He is a pretty good hitter overall. Going to be a nice piece of our roster. Joe Start will be our first baseman. There really aren't that many great options at first base for this period. But he's got a good year at 1874 coming up and a solid one following in 1875. Don't know what we'll do with him at that point, but for now he's our starting first baseman. We've got guys on the reserve roster that can fill it as well. Our starting second baseman will be Ross Barnes. Probably the best hitter for this season. Absolutely ridiculous ratings. His fielding isn't great relative to some of the other options, but you can't complain. He's a good hitter. Cap Anson will be our third baseman. Second best hitter of the league. He's really good. We got John Bass, our shortstop. He's, again, among the better fielding shortstops. Pretty decent hitting overall. Our left fielder will be George Bechtel, a solid hitter with a nice personality and decent corner outfield fielding. Harry Wright will be our center fielder. He's just about average for the position. Riney Walters will be our right fielder. I love this guy. He's another outstanding hitter. And our pitchers will be Bobby Matthews as our starting pitcher. I don't know how he'll do, honestly. He's not quite the best option, but he has definitely got some really nice ratings coming into this year. Riney Walters will be our backup pitcher, so if we need a reliever or a starter or something, he'll come in and pitch. I think we've got some other guys who can technically pitch, but Walters is the preferred option. He is pretty good as well. We'll have to see how the year goes. I'm really excited. I think we've got an outstanding team together. I believe that we can make some nice things happen. So we'll get on to simulating, and I'll catch you guys with the first update during the season. I just realized I totally forgot to go over the team's aesthetics. So the first thing before we do that is that the schedule is really wonky. There's a lot of holes because of how the game was played back in this time period. But we are 11-3 through the first month of the year. Bobby Matthews has been okay as our starting pitcher. I can't complain. He's not doing the worst. Riney Walters, it looks like he has only pitched one game, but it was a complete game shutout, so that's good. And he's done outstanding in right field, so yeah. Andy Leonard appears to have pitched a game as well. I don't know why, but he did not do. Oh, he's pitched in 3 games, so he's probably being used as a reliever because he has 35 movement. But Cap Anson has been our best hitter through this point. He is putting up a basically 1200 OPS almost entirely in the batting average. Yeah, he's hitting for extra bases pretty well too. And he's walking a fair bit. I mean, honestly, his walk rate is really impressive given the historical circumstances. John Bass is actually providing more value than Ross Barnes so far. A 1400 OPS to this point, practically. He's got 6 home runs! 6 home runs! In real life, he hit 3. And it's a month in. He's hit 6 home runs. That's just ridiculous. His shortstop defense is above average, I think. Yeah. Oh, that's his real life. I want fielding ratings. Yeah, he's been unfortunately not great at short, but we can live with it because he's been such a great hitter. And of course, Ross Barnes clocking in really well as well. He's getting on base at a really great rate. Man, this is a great hitting team. If we can keep this up, that would be awesome. We are third in runs scored somehow, despite being far and away first, I'm guessing, in the weighted on base average. Our runs against is also basically the best in the league, so maybe Bobby Matthews has been better than I gave him credit for this year. His overall rating has increased to 2 stars. Yeah. Anyways, as you can see, we've got a little bit of stake going on here for our primary logo. Our colors are as follows. So our primary color is this cool looking tan. Our text color is this purple. And our secondary color is this red. So I think we got a nice aesthetic here for the era. And it will translate relatively nicely to when we move to Phoenix and become the Diamondbacks. We've also got a really, really cool looking V here for our secondary logo, but it's hard to see it in the actual game. Anyways, I'll keep simulating and come back to you guys with more news. We've got a little bit of an event here. Charlie Pabor has called out Jilly Hallinan for being lazy, basically. He is not playing well this year. He's been our backup shortstop. He's getting into games every now and then, and he's just not having a great season. Not a surprise. He doesn't really look all that good. But he got called out by Pabor, and then did not act well about it. So I have suspended Hallinan for 5 games. That is just hopefully it improves his personality, but if not, whatever. Our chemistry, I don't know how it's unhappy. They're unhappy about leadership. We don't have any leadership. That's very difficult to do. Not many leaders in this era, but I will try to find some because a lot of these guys, I mean, other than Hallinan, are players we kind of need. I'll figure this one out. All right, I have a solution for our situation. I'm picking up Charles Bierman, who is one of the few leaders in the league. He is definitely the easiest to acquire. He's a first baseman. He's hardly going to get into any games. We're giving up a 15th round pick, which is basically nothing. We're also getting $20 back in the trade. This will hopefully help our situation a little bit. One other thing I'm going to do, we've been using Joe Start as our first baseman, but Denny Mack on our reserve roster, I didn't notice had a really high eye. I think we're going to put him on our active roster and use him as our starting first baseman because of that eye. That could really help his value. So I'll let you guys know if this helps our situation. The top prospects list is updated, and notably, every single one of them basically is graduated. So the 5 players left on the top 100 prospects list are our guys. So Denny Mack, he's obviously good. He hasn't had playing time to graduate. Everett Mills, he's not bad. John Glenn, he's all right. Ned Cuthbert, yeah, solid player, and then Joe Batten, the number 5 prospect in baseball. It's a weird time period. Anyways, that makes us the most dominant system in the league. I'm not really sure if my solution worked out, but we did get Charles Bierman on the roster. I removed our backup catcher since Deacon White has started every single game so far. I figure that's probably going to be fine. I'm going to actually swap Bechtel here, and I guess we'll move Bass up another spot because he's been really good so far. Yeah, our situation seems to be a little bit better, and Denny Mack in his brief time has been outstanding. So once again, I'll get back to you guys with the next update. There is good news. Jimmy Hallinan has taken his suspension really well. It seems that he has apologized and is taking this into perspective. So that's good for us. Today is also the trade deadline. I'm going to be taking a look around to see if I can make things happen, but I'm not too sure that we're going to be making big trades at this point. I think our team is well set, and I don't think there are many big players out there that we can still acquire. It appears that the Troy Haymakers really value our backup catcher. We're going to get Wes Fisler, who has a couple of strong seasons after this, and their first five draft picks, $50. I mean, it's the backup catcher. He's on our reserve roster because Deacon White is playing every single game. This is a great trade for us. Another outstanding acquisition. So, first move at the deadline, I'll see if I can't make some more happen. I've decided that no team legitimately has players that we are all that interested in, so I'm just going to keep simulating at this point until the end of the season, and then we'll look through the postseason. We have won the National League and will be proceeding to the playoffs. Bobby Matthews had a pretty good year as our starting pitcher. Well, actually, the year's not quite over yet, so let's first finish it up. The only performance I'm really disappointed in is Harry Wright, who was probably not the right decision to use as our center fielder. We don't have any other options, so we've got to keep rolling with him until the end. But I think we had a really strong season. I mean, we basically had an 800 winning percentage. That's really good. Deacon White actually ended up with the most WAR on our team. Ross Barnes and Cap Hansen closely behind. Ron or John rather Bass had an outstanding, ridiculous, unbelievable season. Oh, Ross Barnes hit 419. Interesting. Cap Anson, his ratings looking really good for the future, but man, Bobby Matthews, what a season. So it was definitely the right choice to use Bobby Matthews as our starting pitcher, and obviously once we get to that recalc, which should begin into next season, he will be even more ridiculous. All right, let's get to the beginning of the playoffs here. Unsurprising that Bobby Matthews had the most pitching wins. He won more games than I'm guessing any team in the rest of the league did. He also allowed the most home runs out of anybody. Had the league leading walk rate and WAR, so he might win MVP even. I mean, he was certainly, yeah, he probably will win MVP. All right, so we are going to. Oh man, we lost 24 to 15. So that happened. Bobby Matthews got his butt handed to him. Cherokee Fisher did too, but he just kept pitching. For some reason, Charlie Pabor comes in to pitch before Joe Simmons and Joe McDermott. And I mean, none of those guys should have been pitching, but okay. Anyways, we are now, I believe, 2-1. 3-1. So we are going to play the final game here and hopefully win it, clinch the World Series of the inaugural season of this thing. So, yeah. All right, so we're going to be facing Cherokee Fisher as expected. Bobby Matthews is tired, which means that Riney Walters will get the start today. Bobby Matthews is available out of the bullpen if we need him, but I would rather just stick with Walters the whole game. Hopefully he's ready to go as a starting pitcher. It looks like he is, so I'm thinking that's good. I think we might actually stick Joe McDermott into center field over Harry Wright because Harry Wright has just declined so heavily. And he had a terrible year. I think Wright is a better hitter, so I will give him the chance. Anyways, if Riney Walters is starting as our pitcher, we need a new right fielder. We could bring in Charlie Pabor. I think Bechtel is capable of playing both corner outfield, so yeah, Pabor is an option. He looks pretty good at this point. Honestly, I think it's got to be him. I don't really see any other options, so Pabor will play left. Bechtel will play right. We'll move everybody up a spot in the lineup. How did Mac do? Yeah, he had a great year. He had a 535 on base percentage. So awesome season for Mac as our first baseman after we brought him in. All right, well, let's get this one rolling. Bobby Matthews, unfortunately, is not our starter. We might bring him in mid-game or something, but we'll have to see. It's an interesting game here against the, what is this, the Red Stockings in an interesting series. So we're going to play until runners in scoring position when we are pitching. All right, Ross Barnes leads it off. Full count to Barnes from Cherokee Fisher, who is probably the best pitcher in the AL. Yeah, he basically led the AL at everything. And Ross Barnes singles to the right side to get our game started here. We got Deacon White, so I'm going to do a run and hit, or hit and run rather here. That means that Deacon White is forced to swing, and that is a single up the middle for Deacon White. Ross Barnes on to third base. Awesome. We've got 2 runners on for Cap Anson. 0-1. Grounder to third, and that is botched by the third baseman because that's what happens in this era. It's Mike Brannick, the guy that we traded to them. He finished the season with a 16 OPS plus. Oh man, I guess they really wanted Brannick because they didn't have a third baseman. That is just hilarious that we got so much from the Red Stockings for such a bad player. Denny Mack, he grounds one down the left field line. That's going to be a hit. And we're going to hold Anson with no outs. I think we've got a very good chance of scoring them. Cherokee Fisher really struggling to start this game off. And John Bass, who was an outstanding hitter for us this year, stands in against him. Danny Mack is on second, Cap Anson on third. That's sliced to the left field, likely going to be caught for an out, and it is George Bechtel now, 1-0 count. Right in front of the catcher? What? I have no idea what just happened, but I'm not sending Denny Mack. Harry Wright stands in. Yeah, this is just really strange. I think we're going to have Bechtel steal second base. We'll see what Harry Wright can do. Harry Wright actually puts the ball in play. That will save the double play, and we score yet another run. I'm going to have him steal again. Charlie Pabor stands in. And the throw to third is not in time. It's into the outfield because everybody sucks at fielding in this time period. And we have 5 runs in the first inning and counting. Charlie Pabor, full count. Grounder to first base, and it's botched by the first baseman. That's their third error of the inning. Riney Walters, the pitcher, stands in. 0-2 gets past the catcher. Remember, Walters was our starting right fielder this year. He is a great hitter. 2-2 to him. Full count now. And that is a fly ball to left field to end the inning. But we bat around, almost score. We send 9 men to the plate and score 5 runs. Walters will try to keep it scoreless here for the Red Stockings. But Jim Foran reaches. We've got Tommy Beals up now. We'll see what he does. Ground ball up the middle to the shortstop, and it's botched. That is going to be an error on John Bass, one of the best players this season. He led the league in slugging and OPS. 7 home runs, 18 triples. 18 triples! 61 RBIs, also league leading. All right, we've got Elmer White up. 2-1 to him. Looking for a double play to get out of this. Ground ball to Bass. He gets it to second, but it will not be turned by Barnes, and the inning will, or that would not have ended the inning. 2-2 here. That is a hit up the middle. It's deep. Our center fielder cannot get to it, and that is looking like a triple here. Man, these games are just ridiculous. Mike Brannick stands in. Probably can't hit the ball. 1-2. Wild pitch will score the runner. Oh, man, this is crazy. And Brannick will put the ball in play. Oh, my goodness. Brannick strikes out. Riney Walters gets a very rare strikeout for this era. I want to see how many strikeouts Matthews had over the entire season. He struck out 15 guys in 250 innings. 15 guys! And that's 1 strikeout. Cherokee Fisher now, 1-2 count. This is probably not a strikeout. It is sliced into right field, and that will end the inning. All right, our offense goes back out. It's the top of the order again with Ross Barnes starting it off 1-1. That's sent to right, but likely a caught for the out. And it is Deacon White steps in. 0-2 count to White. He rockets that one up the middle, but the center fielder makes a nice play. Cap Anson, 1-0 count. That's a pop fly, and it looks like it'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Cherokee Fisher and the Red Stockings. First two runners reach against Riney Walters here. We may have to bring in Bobby Matthews yet. That is bunted, and it will be the first out. Jim Foran, first ball in play. Grounded to the shortstop, and John Mack throws him out. Tommy Beals, 2-2. Grounded to John Mack once more, and he is thrown out to end the inning. Man, Denny Mack, 2-2. Fly ball to right field. This is going to be caught. John Bass, 1-1. Premier power hitter of the league. That's sent into left, hit hard, and it'll be a single for the shortstop. George Bechtel. Passed ball. Bass will reach second. Bechtel, full count. And he draws a walk. George Bechtel draws a walk. Harry Wright stands in. Our center fielder. 1-0 count. Grounded past the shortstop and into left field. The left fielder commits an error. Oh man, they're going to go all the way. It's going to be the equivalent of a double for Harry Wright here. Charlie Pabor steps in. 1-0 count. A hit will likely score 2. Fly ball to left will likely score none. Oh, but it's botched. Their left fielder is garbage. Harry Birthrong with back-to-back errors allows us to really dig in here. 5 errors already committed by the Red Stockings. Riney Walters stands in, full count to him, and a pop out will likely be an out. Ross Barnes with 2 men on, full count. Grounded to the third baseman, and he makes yet another error. Oh man, Mike Brannick. No move was better than giving Brannick to the Red Stockings to use as their starting third baseman. Man, what an awesome thing this has been for us. Garbage hitter. He struck out. He struck out against Riney Walters, and he's already committed 3 errors. Deacon White, first ball in play. Fly ball to center. This is likely going to be an out. And it's botched by the center fielder. Tommy Beals misses the play. We have 2 runners on for Cap Anson. Full count. They have to bring in a reliever who walks Cap Anson promptly. The reliever is Caleb Johnson with no pitching ratings whatsoever. We should tear him up 2-1. Passed ball will score yet another run. 3-1 to Denny Mack. This one's looking out of hand for the Red Stockings, and he is walked. John Bass, 1-1. Grounded to the second baseman. Will they make the play? And amazingly, the Red Stockings make a play. Only 7 errors through 3 innings for the club so far. First batter gets to second against Walters here, who's struggling a little bit. 0-1. Fly ball to center. And that is caught. Mike Brannick stands in. He's already struck up once, but this one will be in play. Grounded to the second baseman, and he is retired. Caleb Johnson, their pitcher. Ground ball to second, and that is going to end the inning. The Red Stockings do not score. George Burstall. Ground ball up the middle. The second baseman makes a rangy play and surprisingly retires him. Wright stands in, full count. He is walked because Caleb Johnson has no control. Charlie Pabor, first ball is in play. Grounded past the second baseman and into right for a single. Riney Walters, the pitcher, he has yet to get on base, but he draws a walk here. Bases loaded for the top of the order. Ross Barnes, full count. That's a single into right field. And I think we score 1 or 2 on that. We score 1 on that. Deacon White, full count. Ground ball to the first baseman. They get him at second. but White is safe. Cap Anson stands in, full count. That is up the middle for a single. I can now see why Bobby Matthews' ERA was so impressive. They bring in a new reliever, Frank Abercrombie, who is a shortstop, I think? He looks like a shortstop. He also has 35 movement, no control, no stuff. Denny Mack is walked. John Bass, 0-1. Up the middle, and that'll be an outstanding play by the right fielder. What a shocker. We are up 13-4 in the inning. All right, you know what? Dick Flowers has reached base. Full count to McVeigh. Ground, or just a 3-0. Ground ball to the third baseman. Anson will be an out. 1-1 from Foran. Grounder to the shortstop, and the inning is over. Whew. Bechtel leads off for the third consecutive inning, I think, and he flies out. I'm actually just going to do the runner in scoring position for our offense now. Walk to Walters, the pitcher. He has walked in 2 consecutive at-bats. 1-2 to Ross Barnes. Fly ball up the middle. That'll be caught for the out, and the inning is over without a run scored. Tommy Beals reaches base for Bear Throng. That is a passed ball. 2-2. Fly ball to right. That'll be caught, but the run will almost certainly score. Oh my goodness, and it's botched by Pabor. Well, Brannick stands in. He's the closest you can get to a free out and manages to record a hit nonetheless. Pabor hurries it in, and they get him at second. Abercrombie, 1-0 count, or 0-1 count rather. And the inning continues. It has not been a nice one for Walters. McGreary reaches, and Dickie Flowers stands in 0-1. Fly ball to left, and an outstanding play by Pabor almost makes up for his earlier error. They pitch a clean inning to us, amazingly. Walters in immediate trouble. Beals stands in, full count. It's a fly ball to right, likely an out. We've got Elmer White now, 0-1. Fly ball to center. This will be an easy out. And Berthrong, full count. He is walked by Walters, who is at 120 pitches and not feeling any sweat. 1-1 to Brannick. That is going to split the gaps, and they will score several runs here. It's a triple that will clear the bases. Abercrombie, hopefully a free out. Passed ball. Abercrombie doubles. McGreary has a 2-0 count. The Red Stockies are trying to fight their way back into the game. He is finally retired, and we are gonna get Bobby Matthews hot in the bullpen. Pabor will be replaced by Walters. Bechtel will move back to left for the next inning. John Bass, rather, 3-0. He draws a walk. I'm going to do the runners in scoring position. It looks like Bechtel reaches a passed ball, so the runners will advance. Wright stands in, full count, or 3-0. He draws a walk. Bases loaded for Pabor, 2-0. It's up the middle, and Pabor's got a single. That'll drive in a run. 2 runs will score on the RBI single. Walters stands in, 1-0. And he's got his first hit of the game. It's going to split the gaps. That's extra bases. Will it be a double or triple? It is going to be a double for Walters. We score another. Barnes, 1-0. Passed ball. Was that a pass ball? Yeah, it was a pass ball. And another run scores. 3-0. Barnes is walked. Deacon White stands in. We're going to do the old run and hit. And Barnes will steal second base. 2-2 to White. That's shot into right field, and Deacon White has got a single. We will score another run here. Cap Anson stands in. Still no outs. A passed ball will score another run, and Deacon White advances. Full count to Anson. That's down the line. It's going to be extra bases. Another run will score as we hit 20 for the game. Cap Anson is into second with a double. He has 7 doubles in the postseason. Denny Mack stands in. Still no outs recorded in the inning. That's yet another double as we score another run. And the nightmare just cannot end for the Red Stockings. John Bass. Man, this is crazy. I should play 1871 baseball more often. George Bechtel, 3-0. He draws a walk. Harry Wright, 1-0. Passed ball. The runners advance. Full count to Wright. He draws a walk. We've got Pabor up now. He started the inning, I think. Ground ball to first, but it's botched by the first baseman. Their 9th error of the game as we score yet another run. Riney Wolters stands in. This is a hit to left field. It's deep. It's taken him back, but it will not be out of the park. And we will score yet another run as the runner advances. Ross Barnes, 2-0. Passed ball, it's 3-0. 11 runs have scored at the inning. 3-1. Ross Barnes draws another walk. Deacon White in. Deacon White sends it. It's going to split the gaps. Ross Barnes will score. We will add 2 more runs. Deacon White will be into second with yet another double, and this inning continues. A nightmare inning that's putting the Red Stockings in their coffin. We added 13 runs to our lead. 0-1 to Anson, and he will fly out to end the inning. Man, I would be surprised if Bobby Matthews has not tired. Yeah, he's tiring by this point because he was in the bullpen for so long. All right, 1 second. I'm going to put Riney Wolters in right field. Birchall will move to left. Pabor is out of the game. Or actually, you know what? I'll set Pabor to be the pitcher so that we can directly replace him. What? Is there a 3-batter minimum? That should not be the case. I've got to double check to make sure that's not the case because Pabor is garbage. All right, we've got Bobby Matthews in. There must be like a 1-batter minimum. All right, Bobby Matthews, fix our problem. That's up the middle and caught. Ferran is in. 2-0 count. The pitch, ground ball to shortstop. Mack has it, and he's out. Or Bass, not Mack. Beal stands in. 2-1. It's up the middle. That'll be a single, and the Stockings will score a run. Elmer White. 1-1. Up the middle. That should be an easy play for the center fielder. The inning will end. Oh, man, 1 more to go. John Bass triples a run in, presumably from Denny Mack. George Bechtel stands in. I love how the pitcher, who's currently has walked 9 batters. It's a fly ball. That's likely an out, but it should score. Nope, Bass will not score, actually. Harry Wright, 1-1. Wild pitch will score Bass. Harry Wright reaches. Bobby Matthews doubles him over to third. Riney Wolters stands in. 1-2. Passed ball. Yet another run will score. Full count to Wolters. That's a single up the middle. We have added our 30th run to the board. Ross Barnes, our leadoff man, stepping up to the plate yet again. 2-2. It's a grounder to the third baseman, and he will reach on an infield single. Deacon White, full count. He draws a walk. Bases are loaded for Cap Anson. 0-1 pitch to Anson. That's a fly ball. Should be easy to catch, and it will not score a run. Denny Mack, who led off the inning, 1-0 count. That's ripped into right field. It'll score a run. We're going to send Barnes. Eli White trying to throw him out, but he will not do so. Or Elmer White, not Eli White. All right, we've got John Bass standing in. First ball in play to the first baseman, and he makes his like 4th or 5th error of the game. Bases loaded for George Bechtel. First ball in play. Fly ball to right. That'll end the inning, but 6 more runs are added, and it's going to be impossible. Impossible for the Red Stockings to... Oh, shoot, Bobby Matthews is exhausted. But you know what? The game's over. The game is over. We win by a ridiculous 32-13. The offense really came through. Moneyball. We had a very cheap payroll. No surprise there. We pounded the Red Stockings with the runs. We champions score at will, double digits, all hits, contact inning, batting around, touch the plate, hit machine, team effort, everything. Every single achievement in the history of the game. And we will win the World Series in our first season as the Chicago Vipers. All right, that is exciting. So the next episode will be the following season and the draft. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this series. I think there are a lot of cool things we could do. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I am.